Okay, so again, hi, my name is Adam Matłacz. I work for Space to Grow since last year. Very briefly about me, I work in IT for the past 15 years, but for the past 3 years, I have spent working closely with implementing AI in different areas, especially HR, which is the specialty of the Space to Grow. But about our solution, you will hear at the end. I will today focus on giving you some insights on how to overall implement AI in different areas of your organization, focusing on the HR area. About my credentials a little bit more. So I also lead a course on MBA for startups. So on MBA course on using AI in startups, in implementing and using it in different areas. But I also coach and teach testers and developers on using AI. In the meantime, I shared a link with you guys. So please open Slido, which will be used right now, because I would like to ask some questions to you about how much, if in your past you have took part in the process of collecting feedback, like a 360 review feedback, and if yes, then what were the biggest challenges of your work, right? You can join either scanning the QR code with your phone, or just entering link Slido and passing this passcode, or just clicking on the link that I have sent on the chat. I know that there is a slight delay between me and you guys, so no worries. I will give a short pause for you to vote. Okay, I see some votes, so let me just briefly comment on that. As I can see, the first point on the list where most of you have voted is collect responses from all participants. That was the biggest challenge, and the runner-up and on the same level is number of written comments to read and process. That's not surprising to me at all, to be honest. That is like the third time where I'm giving this presentation. And more like people give me similar insights about what's the biggest hurdle in the process of collecting feedback. So here I would very quickly go to the second question and ask you about about how much time approximately per one person it takes you to go through the whole process, right? To the process of collecting feedback, processing it, analyzing, taking like the insights, maybe sharing the insights with the person that is interested in that. So now I'd like to ask you to vote on that. And oh my God, more than 40 hours. That's the first answer. Okay, so let's see how much time you spend, your organization, on this whole process. So again, I will give you a moment to vote, and it's still more than 100. Okay, other responses. That's good. So between 1 and 8 hours, and more people are voting on that. So okay, I will give you a moment again. All right. You can still vote, but in the meantime, I can just briefly comment. So between 1 and 8 hours per one person, right? So that's still something considerable. So guys, what if I would tell you that today we'll try to do it under 5 minutes? Let's see how it goes. Of course, there's a catch, and you will hear about the catch after I will do it. But let's see how AI agent can support that us in that process. Good. So let's get firstly to the main topic of today, which is AI agents. But before that, maybe let's firstly analyze what the AI agent is, and what's the difference between AI agent and just LLM. So first, briefly about AI. AI is not something new, even though you might feel it like that, because currently everybody is speaking about AI in everything. I'm afraid of opening refrigerator or opening bag of chips, because the AI will jump out from it to me. And actually AI is with us since more than 50 years, right? The first mathematical work on that by Turing was done in 1970. right? So more than 50 years ago, there were first concepts about how to implement, how to use AI. And it was actually a statistical models and statistical scientific paper done by Turing. But that was theory. Then there were first models that were implemented and used for different purposes. So still, why today we still talk about AI like it's something new? Because it's kind of is to a certain degree, right? In the past, when you were speaking about AI, each AI model, each AI solution was more or less doing one thing and one thing only, right? So you had model that was doing the sentiment analysis. You had a model that could like simplify things or find patterns. You had models that found cancer, right? So you had one model to do one very specific task, and it was trained on very specific data. So what changed? LLMs changed. And LLMs stands for large language models, right? They are also not new. Actually, Google and others were working on them for a very long time. But 3 years ago was the first time where OpenAI just openly shared their LLM model with the public. It was done in very user-friendly way where you could just chat with it, right? Ask some questions, and then you had answers from the model. And the biggest difference here was that it was not model that was specified in one direction, in doing one thing. So you could ask that model for sentiment analysis. So you could just post a tweet and ask, is this tweet positive for my company or not, right? And you got the answer. You could ask the same model about something completely different, right? Write an email for me, write this summary for me, and stuff like that, right? At the beginning, the models were mostly generating text data, right? And at the beginning, the models had only knowledge about the period of time or the data that they were taught, right? So that's the major difference, that models only knew something to the certain point in time. And after that, you had a cutoff, right? So if there was like election for a president after the model was created, basically the model was not able to answer that question unless it was hallucinating, right? So what was what's the solution? What was the first thing that was added to that? Vector database, which actually as a functional thing is called retrieval augmented generation. So basically building retrieval augmented generation is building a solution where your model is not only smart, but also is able to search for the data somewhere, right? So you can imagine LLM model as a very smart Einstein, right? So it's Einstein. So he's very smart. He's very knowledgeable. He knows a lot of stuff, right? But at the same time, there are limits. So if you ask Einstein about, I don't know, molecular biology, I don't know if he was expert in that area or not, but I assume not. He would have to hallucinate and he would have to figure out the answer for your question. But imagine giving Einstein access to a library, right? So retrieve augmented generation is exactly that. So you have this very smart model taught using billions of data, and then you put a bookshelf next to the Einstein. So if you ask a question about the molecular biology, he can always go to to this bookshelf, find appropriate book, right? Open on appropriate page and find chapter 5, line 7, and give you the answer, right? So based on this smart book on the topic, right, can give you the answer and even can quote, right? Can quote from the book showing you, okay, so in chapter 5, there's actually a quote where you have the answer for your particular question. So that's the retrieve augmented generation. So imagine in your organization, if you are afraid of using LLM because LLM will hallucinate, so it will not know about your internal procedures, about HR procedures, for example, on how much sick leave people can have, or so how much for how long they can go for vacation, or what are the bonuses, right? The model without any knowledge would just hallucinate. If you want to create a solution that will provide the certain answers, there is a way to do it, right? So you can create this vector database, put in the vector database a lot of your documents from your organization, your internal documents about policies, about what to do in certain situations, what to do in case of somebody going on a sick leave, right? And stuff like that. And then by giving access to this model to your employees, model is not hallucinating anymore, because model is giving you the right answers, right? Because it gives you the answers based on your internal documents. And that's called retrieve augmented generation, RAG. Remember this, because you can hear about RAG very often in many different AI solutions. And this is the way to overcome the knowledge limitations, and the way to teach your knowledge. It's not actually teaching, because the model stays the same, but it's like teaching the model, so giving access to your for your model to external data that can be used. And last but not least, where are we today? Right? So RAG was not something new. RAG was also added as a possibility that people could add access to to some files when they were asking chat some questions, or the chat had access to the internet and could search in the internet knowledge, right? But the AA agents, the AA agent is something more. AA agent has more opportunities. So first of all, as you can see on the picture, AA agent has also access to the database. So again, it can have access to the internal data, but it can communicate with other agents. It can communicate with other systems, right? So right now, your agent, it not only can check what are your internal policies on having days off in your company. Let's say it's like 26 days, right? Each employee in our organization can take 26 days, right? But if I would ask such model about how many days I can take off, right? It wouldn't have that knowledge. It would know in the organization there's on average 26 days, but it depends on your seniority. It depends on like different things. But here with the AI agent, you can do one more thing. You can add your possibility for your agent to communicate with external systems. So communicate with the environment over the APIs, right? And this communication enables things like how much days I have left in this year, right? And then my agent could contact HR system, Workday or whatever, right, in my organization, and ask that system. So I'm checking this for Adam Matłacz. Can you please tell me how much Adam Matłacz has left, right? And then through this API, I can get this information back to Adam Matłacz, and not only answer, on average, everybody that works here for such and such, it has 26 days. But you actually this year have used 6 days. So you have 20 days left. So you're not only providing me factual, real information about my company, but also about myself, because you have the possibility to interact with the system. And I could give even go more, right, with the agent, because I could say that this agent not only has the access over the API to ask about my days off, but also to book them. So I could create an AI agent that not only checks for me, okay, how many days I have left? 20. Oh, okay. So I would like to take 3 days off in May to take a longer May weekend in Poland, right? So can you do that for me, right? Press enter, and then agent could again communicate with the system and try to book these 3 days for me, get the message, yes, that's confirmed, it's booked, or error message and get back to me and say, sorry, Adam, I cannot do it in May because of something, right? So basically what this agent could give me, it could work autonomically, right? And here I go to the definition from Wikipedia, where you can see the difference between AI agents and LLMs, just LLMs. LLM is a large language model. It's like an engine that can do all of the work, right? But it doesn't have purpose. It's a general engine, and it doesn't have access to any external things. AI agent has access to environment, has possibility to interact, and what is more, has a specific goal to be achieved, right? For example, the agent can book a holiday for me, or do some kind of translations or whatever, right? So with the AI agent, you can actually step way forward and add possibility to do very specific things for you. So now let's do this quick demo, right? As I promised, I said that it is possible to let's try to do this under 5 minutes and create an agent. what I'm using, and here I will have ask a question to all of you guys, and in the meantime I will work on that. How many of you have a pro license for ChatGPT? So how many of you have bought subscription? Put your answers on the chat. I'm observing chat here, and in the meantime I'm working on building an agent. So give me a second. Okay. So imagine that we want to build an agent that will do the thing that we were measuring at the beginning. So what I'm doing here right now is I opened GPT creator from OpenAI, and I just asked, oh, okay, you can see somebody is using Gemini. I also use, I actually right now have, I think I have 5 different subscriptions because I use Perplexity, I use Gemini, I use ChatGPT, I use Lovable, and Cursor AI, right? So that are the subscriptions I have today. But basically, I can see Gemini, ChatGPT. That's good. What Gemini has, what ChatGPT has, which is really cool thing, is GPTs. So creator, where you can create your own GPTs that are very specific. So here right now, I ask the model to create a GPT that would do a summary of feedbacks given to me by my colleagues, right? And I said, okay, that the name is okay. It will then generate for me some kind of beautiful picture that will be the icon for that GPT. Oh, GPT and Cursor. So we have some more techie guys here. Okay, so this is okay. And we have our agent. It will update right now the picture. Yeah, let's test it right now. So what I will do, I have prepared test feedbacks given by my 10 colleagues. This is of course fake data, so these are not real feedbacks, and I will give this to the AI, to the agent that we have just built, right? So you can see Alice Carter, some Michael here, Sarah Thompson, and so on and so forth. I'm giving this to the chat, and let's see what happens. Great. So here is the summary. Here are my strengths. Here are my growth teams, so the things that I could work on with some concrete information that I could work on. Here are some development opportunities, right? And so on and so forth. So as I promised at the beginning, under 5 minutes, I not only built an agent, but I also used the agent to process the feedback data given by my colleagues. As I said, this is just a fake data, but basically, here you go. Here how AI could support you in your endeavors, right? And you can even go more, because here that was very simple agent that had a title, an icon, some instruction what to do, right? So these instructions were written by ChatGPT in the chat interface, but actually I can modify it and create my own instructions, or modify the ones that we have. I have some conversation starters, so like examples of topics with which I can come to the ChatGPT, but there's even more. I said that with agent you can give him access to some more data. So you can add to the agent files where you can like have some internal policies from your organization, right? Or internal informations, or some examples or whatever. You can even do more here, because here you can add access to some APIs, right? So here you can connect with weather data and check the weather or whatever, which is live information, right? So this agent could not only work on the information that is limited to, but also can access the internet, right? So that's great, right? We have an agent. So why would you even go for any other solution, right? We are done. That's good. Does anybody on the chat agree that we could use that for summarizing feedback from other peers and people in your organization? You can type on the chat, yes or no. Do you think that this solution is great and you could just use it tomorrow in your organization? Don't be shy, guys. Okay, and there's a short delay between me and you guys, so I just jump into the conclusion. No, don't do this at home. Don't do this at home. And why? Many reasons. Basically, it's not that I don't trust OpenAI and ChatGPT. I think that this is a really great organization delivering great models. Great models, and you can use these models on a daily basis in your organizations. The problem with it is that basically it's built for different purposes, right? So ChatGPT is built for a certain purpose, to interact with you as an individual. It's not necessarily built with a purpose in mind of being GDPR compliant or AI Act compliant. And in the AI Act, you have many informations regarding what you can and what you cannot do with AI, right? So the ChatGPT producers, OpenAI, cannot guarantee that ChatGPT is compliant for that purpose because they create this for a different purpose. So you cannot just repurpose the tool that is there, right? So you are not sure if that solution is GDPR compliant, for example, right? Second thing, scalability, right? So this GPT I could do internally. I can send link to other people, but basically I would be still the master of that GPT, right? So it's not necessarily something that you can scale in organization. Third of all, data security, right? So even though in a paid version of ChatGPT, they claim that they will not use my data for learning their models. Great, awesome, right? But I'm not sure if you are aware of that. With ChatGPT, for example, have any of you had a problem where ChatGPT answered to you, sorry, I cannot work at this point in time? And there was this like a red bracket around it with a exclamation mark, right? That meant that basically your chat history that preceded that error message most probably was read by some engineer from OpenAI, right? Because the error handling, that's how the error handling works, right? They want to improve their solution. That's great. And I like, I support them in that. But in case of situation that there is some kind of error, they have access to your prompts, right? They might not use them to learn their model, but they have access to them. And that's OpenAI. So what about solutions like R1, right? The one from the one delivered by this Chinese organization, right? DeepSeek. That's great, but it's not necessarily working under the European Union regulations. So I'm not sure if I would comply with any secret data with that chat, right? So be very, very careful with the solution that you buy, the vendor you buy it from, and the things that you want to do with that solution and the kind of data that you want to put in it, right? Make sure that when you're putting any of your data in AI solution, make sure that this AI vendor is not doing anything malicious with it, right? If you can trust that vendor, right? So I cannot stress this enough. It's really, really important to find vendors that are built for these specific purposes that you have in mind. Third of all, ethics. Ethics and how the solutions are ethically built, right? ChatGPT, Gemini, and all of the big guys are trying to secure their solutions, right? So if you would ask ChatGPT on how to produce meth, most probably ChatGPT would say, sorry, I cannot give you the answer, or how to build a bomb, right? It will not provide you with the answer because it's secured a little bit, right? A little bit, very strongly secured. But the solutions are built by humans and tested by humans. Ergo, humans make errors. Ergo, these solutions also not 100% completely secure, right? And not 100% built in ethic way, right? There is this history about one of the big corporations that wanted to build an AI model to analyze CVs, right? So what they have done, they have taken the CVs from the whole IT department and fed that data into AI, saying these are the best candidates, right? So we're teaching you, dear AI, in which candidates are the best for our company. Can you please, in the future, select for me the CVs that are the best to hire? And what do you think what happened? Does anyone on the chat heard about this history? And we'll have a drink and give you a second to think about it. Okay. So what happened? It turned out that AI always suggested to hire men, only men. And why do you think was that? Because in the IT department already majority of the people were men, so the data they used were biased, right? So but let's stop for a moment. They decided, okay, let's fix that, right? Let's remove any sex indication from the CV. So they remove names, surnames, they remove the sex, right? Everything that was something suggesting the sex, and then again teach the model, again prepared new model. But again, it turned out that AI always suggested men. Why is that? Because AI is great at recognizing patterns. So even if something was not seen by the human eye, with the AI was able to find the pattern that this is the man's CV, and the men's are the best because majority of the CVs are men. So we will hire that person, not another person. The solution there was scrapped, so they resigned from it. Today we're in a different place. That was many years ago, and I don't want to name the name of the company, but you can Google it probably. So today there are solutions, HR solutions, that are ethically okay, that are not sexy, that they are not using biases, right? But in the past, the first models, that was not necessarily the case. And secondly, like all of the models are always taught with some data, right? And you are not sure where the data is coming from, right? Is the data was acquired in ethical way, right? Was the data vetted, right? Or was it not vetted? They just scrapped everything from the forum. Because what can happen? Go to any forum go to bash.org, right? Or any forum on the internet, and see how looks the conversation between people that are sometimes racist, sometimes sexist, sometimes misogynists, right? And so on and so forth. And if the solution that is built was teached all of this data, that means that this solution will get all of these biases inside it, right? So again, when you are deciding on selecting vendor, make sure that the vendor is using appropriate resources and is making sure that the ethics of the solutions is built into the solution, right? Last but not least, functional limitations, right? If you would just use ChatGPT as I used a moment ago, it has some functional limits, right? So if you are looking for HR solution that is for your business, your area of competence, then basically it's good to find a vendor that delivers solution for that particular part of the business that you want to automate with AI. So AI agents and whether how they can support your organization. So basically, in HR, in business, the possibilities are almost limitless, right? But in HR, the major ones that comes to pop to the top of my head, and why I'm talking, please guys put on the chat if you are using AI in your organization. Then if yes, then for what you are using. So please put on the chat information for what you are using, so I can just discuss a little bit with your examples. But for me, the first example is recruitment, which I already discussed a moment ago, right? So you can automate the process of selecting the best CVs that match the position, right? If you have hundreds of them, then why you should scan all of them if they are okay with the minimum requirements, right? The AI can do this for you. It can even analyze some recordings of the interviews and stuff like that, right? So in recruitment, there are many ways how AI can support you. In onboarding, Do you imagine, remind yourself on how the onboarding looks in your organization, how long it takes for a person to learn how to operate in your environment, right? It's a process that takes weeks, if not months, right? And again and again, the new employee has a full right to ask all of the questions to the colleagues. But at the same time, a lot of these questions are repetitive questions. And if you would say, oh, there's a FAQ page there on the Confluence, just go to the FAQ page and there you have a lot of answers, you would put the burden of that search on the person, of the new person that is already overwhelmed in your organization by all of the new information, right? So imagine instead of that, connect the FAQ with some chat GPT or the chat functionality together with the base of knowledge of all of the documents in your organization, and then giving this powerful tool to your employees. That would be awesome, and that would also speed up very fast the whole onboarding process. Okay, I'm looking on the example from Kaspar's Google Doc Assistant. That's a great example, right? So instead of queuing through the whole document, it can assist you in finding the right information, manage database, find things. Okay, so that's a good use of AI. Put more if you guys have some more examples from your organizations. Or put no, I'm not using AI if you don't use it today at all. Third area is employee support. So again, having like this expert that knows more than any HR person in your organization would be great, because that person would that chat would have access to all of the documents you want to fit inside. And last but not least, the performance management. With AI, you can eliminate the subjectivity, right? So imagine me, I'm Adam, and I don't like Tomasz, for example, right? I don't like somebody in my organization, or I like somebody very much and I favor that person, right? So instead of me judging the performance indicators of that person, the AI could do it and give me a brief summary at the end. So still, I'm in the driving seat. So it's not replacing me, right? I'm in the driving seat, analyzing the summary. But I'm analyzing the summary that is objective, right? It's based on the data. It's based on the information that you have in the system, right? So objectively speaking, it gives me information that removes all of the weak parts of me as a human, and leaves me with all of my strengths as a human being, right? At the end, analyzing the feedback. How the strategy for implementing tools like that can look like. I prepared this chart, but there is one most important thing on this chart that you can see, and it's on the bottom, the feedback loop. Because how the whole process could look like. Firstly, you start with the analysis of the need, right? So what do we need to do? What takes in our organization the most time in the HR process? So you can start with a question, with a very similar question, which I started today, right? Which part of this process gives us the most burden, right? And secondly, how much on average it takes us to do it, right? So start by looking for the KPIs, not finish with the KPIs at the end to prove to your CEO that it was a viable buy, right? Start with it. Start with looking at the areas that give us the most revenue, most return on investment if we automate it, right? And after analyzing, after looking at the areas, after narrowing it down, only after that, look for technology selection. After that, look for the solutions. That is it viable to build something ourselves? Is it viable to buy something from the market? Is it viable to use some general solution? Because maybe for something ChatGPT is good enough, right? Maybe you don't need anything more. I don't want to demonize Gemini or ChatGPT, right? So it might be that at the end of the day, this will be the solution that you look at, right? But you do it only after you decide that you want to automate part of the process. When you have the problem, when you have the solution for the problem, then you start with the pilot and training. And that's a point which I can observe from my experience is very often neglected. Something where organizations decide, okay, here's my money, right? I spend my money on the solution and then just use it. And they can't hold their fingers crossed that people will just magically start using it from tomorrow. That's very often the mistake. Make sure that you put enough effort into teaching people on how to use that solution, teaching people in what is the value and benefit, especially in the era of AI and AI agents, where people are afraid of using technology because, well, the technology will replace me, right? So AI will replace me. If I will start using it today, then tomorrow I will not have job. My God, the AI here is to help. You will be in the driving seat, right? So make sure that your people know that and are aware of that. They are not scared, right? Make sure that in the step number 3 of implementing any solution, any tool, and this applies not only to AI, right? Here today I'm focusing on AI, but this applies to everything. Make sure that your people are feeling secured in their positions and have the enough skills to use the tool for which you paid a good money, right? So make sure that you take care of that. And you can also start implementing this solution, not to everybody in your organization. You can do a pilot. And I highly encourage, whenever you buy a new tool, don't buy it for $1 million for everybody. Just buy it for one department and check if it works there. And then measure the KPIs from the point number 1. Right? Check if the KPIs and the assumptions that you made on the point number 1 make any sense, right? Many times during the discussions with people that take part in our webinars or the HR breakfast that we have here in the office, where we had these discussions, they say, oh yeah, we bought this, we built this solution. And when I ask the question, but did you measure it? Did you measure the adaptability of it? Not yet, right? And okay, I respect that. You not always have the possibility to track metrics from the beginning, but at some point if in time you have to ask yourself a question, right? How will I measure if we had a success, right? And only after measuring that during the pilot phase, you can jump to the next one: monitoring, optimizing, and scaling. Scaling it to more people, scaling it to the rest of the organization, scaling it to other departments in your organization. So that's how the strategy should look like. At least that's how I suggest to do it, right? With any tool, despite the one that you select at the end of the day, that you take into considerations all of these areas. Right now, I would jump to a brief, quick demo of our solution, right? Because I will not lie. We have our own AI agent solution that we would like to propose for you guys, right? At the end of the day, it's on you guys if you decide to buy or not, or use our solution. But this is one of the options that is on the market. And oh, sorry, give me one more second. I logged to our wrong user. Actually, if you are interested in doing exactly the thing that I'm doing here right now, I will be doing here right now, you can contact us and we'll give you access to a demo user. One of two. We have one for Polish market, one for people that are speaking in other languages. Basically, the system can work in any language you want, right? But the native for the system right now is English, and the whole system is right now translated into Polish, but the AI coach functionality is actually using any language that you want to speak. So if you speak Mandarin, you can speak in Mandarin, and that should be fine. So in our system, what is our solution, the Space to Grow solution? What problem we are solving? We are solving the problem of self-development of soft skills, and we are supporting managers. So imagine that as a manager, you are overwhelmed. You have a tough discussion tomorrow with your peer or your subordinate, right? And you have to, I don't know, cancel their holiday or fire maybe, or have a conversation about the improvement, right? So imagine you have a very difficult conversation tomorrow, right, about it. What we offer and what we think is very beneficial for developing soft skills is coaching services, right? And that's what we started with. So in our system, we have possibility to work with a human coach, where I can book session and have a meeting with a human coach next Wednesday. This is demo account, so I will not be able to do it. As you can see, when I click book it, then there's this message that I cannot do it because this is demo account. But basically, that's the basic functionality of our system, which we started with, which is booking meetings with a human coach, and the human coach could support us in that process. So if I'm very stressed about some meeting, the coach would help and support me in that, right? Secondly, what platform gives you insights in yourself, right? So after I log in for the first time to the platform, actually what I'm doing, I'm updating the assessment. So I'm filling out some kind of survey where I provide our system with some more information about myself, about my strengths, about strong points, about recommended areas for about my strong points and stuff like that. And then AI, our platform, is analyzing all of that and gives me some insights about my strong points, about recommendations for improvements, about recommendations, what I should start, what I should stop, and what should I continue. So using the start, stop, continue framework. So basically, all of these insights you have after the first test that you implement and test yourself in the system. So you got the insights into yourself. Secondly, you have the assessment, which is basically 360 review assessment. Here we had some demo data, right? So all of these people are not real, right? And all of this feedback were given. But basically, again, AI that we build into our platform is giving you the summary. So when you do the 360 review, you don't have to send the emails yourselves. It does that for you. You don't have to think about questions yourself. The system does that for you. But what's even more, and it's not necessarily available in other platforms, it gives you the summary, right? So at the end of the day, you have the summary of how other people see you. You can see the values behind the votes they gave, right? So you can in certain groups on how they like you. So for example, my friends and family, as you can see, all of my friends and family think that I'm awesome, right? But how my manager sees me, oh, he doesn't see me as good as my peers or my friends and family see me, right? So you have this analytical part, but you don't have to read all of that because you can just focus on the strong points, on the recommendations, on the start, stop, continue, again, given to you by AI, right? So you have this concrete information personalized to you, to your way of communication, and to the feedbacks that you got from the real people, right? And last but not least, which we have, is the AI coach. So imagine that I booked book a meeting with Isa, but unfortunately it's next week, right? This week we couldn't find the spot in our calendar, so I booked meeting with Isa next week. But I have the meeting tomorrow. I need help tomorrow. I need help today, actually, right? So what can I do? I can go to the AI coach. And here you have the AI coach functionality where you can talk with the coach that knows you even better than the live coach. Because this AI coach, and what's the difference between this AI coach and the chat using ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever, right? The difference here is that this coach knows me, right? So, hi, how can you help me? This coach analyzes me, analyzes the feedbacks, analyzes information. As you can see, responds to me with my name, responds to me knowing my my way of work, and on what should I focus in my development. So I can ask on what should I focus in my development, and then it gives me the areas on which I should focus based on the performance of how other people were assess my performance based on the survey that I have filled, right? So it gives me personalized answers. And what is even more, and I have this in the movie presentation. What is even more, here I have a comparison of a conversation between just a normal chat GPT and our system. And the difference that you can see here is that when I ask the same question to ChatGPT and to our system, ChatGPT, straightforward answer, right? Like a few pages of coaching information of what should I do. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? That's okay. Just it's not personalized, it's general, because the same answer would be given to probably any person that would ask this question. But with our coach, our solution, the difference here is that it's personalized. It's based on the information from the system, and it's based on the vast amount of knowledge about coaching. And here I have a comment from a person that that's not coaching. This AI coach is actually doing coaching, maybe not exactly like a human being, but I will play that part again. So Georgie, I'm not sorry if I'm butchering your name, but George, please observe that what our AI coach is doing, it's firstly asking questions, right? Like in normal coaching, where when you go with a problem to a coach, the coach will not say, oh, okay, so you should do this and that. No, the coach would say, the coach will ask you more questions about the goals, the things that you want to achieve, about your particular situation. And that's another difference between ChatGPT and our coach, right? Or any other solution, was it matter, right? Basically, because it will firstly try to analyze your particular situation. So again, it will not replace a human coach, because you are correct, right? Human coaches are still needed to empathize with you, right? To have not only the vast knowledge, but have the empathy of a human being. But at the same time, it can give you the support at the times where the human coach is not available. Exactly, Georgie. The coach never does the solution, right? So you can test that. Please, I encourage you to contact our sales guys, and they will give you access to our coach, and you will see in the conversation with the RAA coach that it doesn't give you the solutions. It will most probably firstly will try to analyze, ask you more questions on what you want to focus, right? And can give you more guidance as an AI coach than solutions that give you straightforward answers, right? Because the ChatGPT, you are correct, ChatGPT will give you answers, Gemini will give you answers. Our solution will guide you towards the answers. We'll try to guide you and direct you into that direction, right? And again, we are not trying to completely replace the human coach. Right now, we are trying to supplement the AI, the human coaches, right? To create the synergy of both solutions, synergy of technology and human beings. And that's basically, as for the presentation, here I have the link to the feedback survey, which I would highly encourage you guys to go to. And in the meantime, please ask your questions. So I still have 10 minutes left. So if there are any questions, I highly encourage you to ask them on the chat, and I will try to answer them. According to the ICF rules, the coach do not do guiding. Okay. Fair point. Any questions, guys? I will check the other chats as well. Okay, I will give it a moment, because I think I have seen that somebody was still typing, and if not, then I will close the webinar in a moment. So that's the last point in time where you can ask the question. Okay, what is the difference between the tool and customized ChatGPT? Very good question. So the main difference lies in two areas. So first, you wrote customized ChatGPT, and I appreciate that part. So first, we put really a lot of effort from the best coaching specialists on the market, right? And their knowledge and their experience into customizing our chat, so our solution, into a way that it works more as a coaching, guiding solution than just giving you straight answers, right? So it's based on the not only knowledge but also experience of real coaches into building something that will be the bridge between a human coach and AI solution. So we are somewhere in the middle, right? Not necessarily replacing human coach, but also not being a chat GPT which just gives you a very, very generic answer. That's the one part, one aspect. But second, which I think is even more important, it's all of the personalization that comes from using our system in complete as a complete solution, because our system is firstly having the survey which you have filled and knows your problems, knows your struggles, know the things in which it should support you, knows how you like to communicate, and then communicates with you in a way that you marked as you prefer to communicate. But secondly, it also knows your surrounding, right? If you do the 360 review, then basically our solution will be able to analyze that feedback, and based on that gives you the concrete answers. So imagine a situation that I have a stressful situation tomorrow in the office where I have to lead a meeting. This chat can look for my strengths and my weaknesses and try to overcome my issues, right? Can guide me into the best way how I can handle with the solution tomorrow, because it knows me. It knows me through the feedback, right? And that customized ChatGPT, even if it's customized, it will not have that. Unless, of course, you gather all of the feedback and put that in ChatGPT, but then each conversation that you start, each new conversation that you start with ChatGPT, you would have to feed it always with the same feedback. And our solution, you could say that knows you better, right, than ChatGPT. So for me, that's the biggest difference and the biggest advantage of using the space to grow solution instead of generic ChatGPT Gemini. But again, I don't want to demonize. ChatGPT is awesome, Gemini is awesome, and many other solutions are really awesome. They are just general ones, right? So for your specific purpose, which is in this case, in case of space to grow, if your specific purpose is you want to develop soft skills in your organization, you want to support your managers in their managerial work, right? In this case, I would suggest go with something that is built for that purpose, right? Space to grow or anything else. Today, of course, I'm from space to grow, so I encourage you to our solution, to use our solution. But if you find any other solution that is built for that purpose, it might do the job. Okay, another question. What is the difference between building agent, for example, like in Gemini, you're building Gem, or building agent in Google Studio or Vector Shift? Okay, so first disclaimer, I don't know Vector Shift, but fortunately I know Google Studio. So when you are building a gem, right? So in Gemini, you have the paid version and you can build gem. For those that are not familiar with Gemini, gem is like a GPT. So in ChatGPT, I can build a GPT that uses like a certain system prompt and act with me in certain way, right? With Google and Gemini, you can build gems. So gem is like a GPT, right? A little bit different because it doesn't have like the same functionalities, but it's like a adequate solution. So when you build a gem, this gem can be used for many different conversations within your account, right? So you can use that gem whenever you want, and it's ready there for you. Google Studio, in contradiction, it's more like a tool for development. So you could imagine it's like these two tools are just for different purposes. So imagine I want to build a gem in the first place. Then I could probably go firstly to the Google Studio. And in Google Studio, I could test different prompts, test different variations, test different models, see which one fits the best my purpose, and then take that system prompt and put it in a gem, right? So to answer your questions, what the difference between building a gem or building a Google Studio, you can use Google Studio to build a gem or build an agent, right? And if I would even extrapolate a little bit more your question to not only Google Studio and gem and just building generically programming a new agent, then the difference would be that the sky is the limit when you're building your own agent, right? So Gem has its limitations, Google Studio has its limitations. If you're building your own customized agent, just programming, Python or whatever language, right, you want, programming language, then basically the sky is the limit of the things that you can do there. Okay, great, Kaspars, I can see that's good for you. Edward, have you already done any kind of integration with HR system to gather data about persons who would like to use your service? I know that if I would, that it would better for small, medium enterprises and about bigger organizations, but I'm curious if you have any kind of use case. Okay, so for now, we don't do the integration directly with the systems, right? That's on the way for the future clients, right? In case of Space to Grow, for now, we are focusing on giving the possibility for you to decide what kind of documents are uploaded to our system, right? So this is the step one for us. This is the thing for which clients are asking mostly. So not necessarily integrating system to your, I don't know, Workday, for example, right? So we are not yet integrating with the Workday. That's something to come in the future, right? For now, we are mainly focusing on enabling and giving you a possibility so you can decide what kind of files you want to put in the system so the system works better, right? So short answer, Edward, is not yet, but it's on the way. For now, we focus on giving you the possibility. And I must say, guys, that the timing is great with your questions, because I don't see any new questions. And I think I answered all of the ones that I could see on the list. And it's exactly almost 2:00 where I have to finish. So thank you all for participation. Thank you for the great questions. If you have more questions, you can find me on LinkedIn. You can find Space to Grow on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram now, even right now. So please contact me or anybody from our department. Depending if you are interested in Space to Grow, then contact the Space to Grow guys. If you're just interested more into AI area, then contact me and I will be glad to give you answers, glad to give you some suggestions, even if it's not related to Space to Grow. I'm a very open person, so please contact me and I hope to help you. Thank you all, and that's it.